Are you new to the game? Bogged down by SDF's vision? Slightly overweight but still sort of handsome? Boy, do I have the product for you! Introducing Cheesing! Now all of your monster killing problems will fade away faster than you can say, I'm desperately in love with Grayson! Just stand up somewhere high and stab the problem monster to death. For only 3 easy payments of $9.99 redstone shards, you too can play like Party Chip.
I go hard in the paint. I'm the type to test your gangster, put my fingers in your face.
Howdy, gang. I know, I'm sorry, it's been like 2 months since I've uploaded last. I'm currently going through a move and all sorts of shit, so I've been a tinkly-winkly bit busy. I also understand that you came here to be entertained, so that's enough about my gentle, sensitive-to-the-touch woes. I have used these sweaty, sticky, and otherwise Dorito paste-encrusted ham-hock hands of mine to faithfully record every creature and assign them a rank according to how annoying I find them. Their placement on the list is not an indication of how difficult or strong they are, it's more so a question of how much they remind me of Amber Heard. Admittedly, I took forever between recording the footage and actually putting the video together, so all of it is going to be from like 3 to 4 patches ago. Additionally, I have not ranked the new enemies, partially due to a lack of motivation to record new footage, and also because...
Oh my god, bro.
Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man?
With all that said, let's kick back, relax, pause our communal goon sesh, or don't, I don't care if you serenade your shit while listening to the video, and get active. Enjoy! Well, here he is, the most unremarkable, milquetoast, and simple enemy in the entire game. He's just a chill skeleton dude with a sword. He swings that sword in like 2 ways. Very elementary, very demure. It's super easy to avoid either one of his attacks, and even when he's Nightmare, he just gets an extra attack, which is just as dodgeable as the other 2. There's something about old boy that's almost relaxing. Like he'd bring his own drugs to the party, and would articulate that he's not pressuring you into doing them with him, but you are welcome to partake. Pretty cool guy overall. The Frost Imp isn't shit. Being an enemy of the Ice Abyss, which is an area I don't like to go to very often, I was expecting him to be challenging and annoying, but all he did was teleport right next to me and die in like 2 to 3 hits. I was more so confused that this was actually an enemy, and I was kind of waiting for the other shoe to drop. Sometimes he can get a projectile off, but you can just like, walk away from it. This guy is about as upsetting as a Blumpkin after a long summer day. Admittedly, the poison on the Goblin Axeman's weapon is kind of annoying, but it only applies if you get hit. This little green gucksack has about as much range as Helen Keller throwing a rock. Yeah, he can throw in that cute little step whenever he does a second attack, and his Nightmare variant has a third attack, which extends that range, but his stride is as short as my temper after huffing a mysterious bag a homeless guy gave me at a VTuber convention. In summary, just like, walk backwards. The Frostwalker is just great value zombie, limited Christmas edition. Fun trivia fact, the Frostwalker was originally called a White Walker when they were first released, but quickly got renamed. I wonder why that is. Anyways, this thing is a joke. Whenever it gets close to death, it poops out an ice cloud. Most times, it just dies before it can actually get it out. Imagine being this thing, sitting in the frost caves, just waiting to shit really cold glitter, and then fucking die. Couldn't be me. Now, you could argue that the mummy is annoying because of how tanky it is, but I think that it's a nothing burger of a monster because of its moveset. It's got dumb arm flail number 1, silly goose arm flail number 2, and cutie patootie T-Rex arm maneuver number 39. Although they take a bunch of hits, wailing on this thing is typically pretty therapeutic and devoid of challenge, kind of like progressing in World of Warcraft. It doesn't matter how good you are, you just have to put in the time. When I first saw this thing, I actually pissed my little pants. The pure terror that this creature evokes by running at you like you killed his family is unmatched by the rest of the roster. Well, that's the case if it's your first rodeo with this little dude anyways. He's completely countered by just holding the S key, or the A key, or the D key, basically pressing any key. This guy needs to be intimidating considering he's got the weakest range in the entire game, and he only knows one move. Just don't let him actually hit you, it stings. The only reason I have this guy so low on the list is because of his forward stab attack. It sets him apart from the regular skeleton footman because you can't backstep it as easily. It's super telegraphed, easy to block and parry, and if your move speed is decent, you can very easily just walk away from it or sidestep it. I actually used to hang out with this guy in college, but he was kind of a weird dude. His profile picture on Facebook was the Dragonborn from Skyrim. You know exactly the type of guy I'm talking about. All swordsmen would be higher up, but because his low swing occasionally clips you even if you jump it, he gets the title of being somewhat annoying. He's super slow, sort of like people who enjoy Hazbin Hotel, making it easy to walk away from him or duck down. There's a solid game plan when it comes to dealing with this guy, so I don't think he's too bad. I bet a lot of people think that the Goblin Warrior isn't too bad. Yeah, he's got a poison weapon, but other than that, he's got a variety of different... Weird. Anyways, he's just like the Goblin Axeman, right? Wrong. This may just be a personal beef, but he has 3 different melee attacks, and 2 of which are basically impossible to parry without trading with them. You have to wait for the attack where his sword goes horizontal in front of his chest to parry with no risk. He's earned his spot at number 52, for sure. Even though the Skeleton Archer is super easy to deal with, I feel like all ranged monsters are slightly annoying just because they're ranged. Ever been just chilling out, and then you lose half of your health because a Skeleton Archer slaps you in the back of the head with an arrow? Ever listened to any other Trapped song besides Headstrong? Didn't think so. Moving on. These things are like super average and forgettable to me. The only interesting thing about the Giant Ice Spider is their ability to just fall from the sky, which is kind of annoying, I guess. It's like when you hold the door open for somebody at a gas station, and instead of saying thanks, they just keep walking with a blank face like it was your sworn oath to open that door for them, and they're far too stoic to show gratitude. Like, alright man, whatever. This is basically just a direct upgrade from the Skeleton Archer. They're way more annoying, but only half the size. These little Danny DeVito-sized glizzy gobblers are also annoying to parry, and do that weird goblin shit that all of them do, where they stand there and act like they just farted, but they're trying to play it off like they don't know who did it. Also, they're ranged. If you can strafe or have a shield, these guys aren't really shit though. The Skeleton Spearman seems intimidating at first, but once you figure out his kit, he's really not that hard to deal with. The most obnoxious part of his moveset is his horizontal sweeping strike that he does, but you can duck it or block it with ease. You can't really backpedal it though, like when you take a bunch of Ambien and post about agreeing with Kanye West on Twitter. The worst part of the Frozen Ghost is the minigame you have to play to fight it. It freezes the ground, and you have to tippy-tappy your toes all around to take another shot at it. It's like, bro, thanks Obama. Thank you, Obama, for setting in motion the recession, which led to this exact moment of having to carefully navigate this dumb fucking fight with Tits McGee the friendly ghost. Awesome, bro. Just sick. Okay, so the Frost Skeleton Guardsman was actually placed here, but I realized when looking over my footage and my script that I forgot to list the Skeleton Guardsman as well, so I decided to shoehorn him in here. If it matters that much to you, he's probably significantly less annoying than the Frost variant, because the Frost one has that long-ass Elden Ring boss stab that he does, but to be fair, the Nightmare version of the normal Guardsman has that mark-ass, bitch-ass electric shield, so consider the Skeleton Guardsman an honorable mention to the list, I guess. My bad, OG. Much like the Skeleton Spearman, the most oppressive and annoying thing about the Halberder is his wide horizontal sweeping attack. Like, I make this thing my bitch until it whips out all reliable. It pisses me off so much. I just want to go full goatsy on him and poke my face out from between my legs and go tee-hee, tee-hee. You know what I mean? Anyways, yeah, he's like number 45. Correct me if I'm wrong here, gamers, but I'm pretty sure that both the Direwolf and the Frostwolf are literally the same thing. They have no difference in movesets, they're a different color, and they have slightly different drops. You want to tell me why they bite through shields? You want to tell me why you have to fight 10 of them at a time? You want to tell me why it's inconsistent to parry them? Ooh, these puppies make me so mad. They make me so angry, ooh. The Demon Dogs are basically just wolves on Fent. They're just as annoying, but they deal like 10 times more damage. Every squishy class knows the feeling of getting chomped by one of these sicko mode puppy dogs, and experiencing what is referred to as health loss. In the golf, soccer, rugby world, we call getting trapped in a corner by demon dogs not good. You can tell that the Ice Spider's exploding mechanic was intended to be purely obnoxious, but it's really not that potent. It's fairly simple to just make space from them, but the amount of them that you fight at a time, and the locations in which you fight them, supplement their annoyingness. I appreciate the variety they bring to the game, but I don't appreciate the way they remind me of the time I drank Benadryl and was visited by otherworldly spider creatures named the Gargoulians that told me that the world was going to end on July 18th, 2032. Although it's super satisfying to hit their armor and hear the clunk of metal on metal, their combo is super obnoxious and hard to deal with if you're not amply prepared. Even if you parry them, they'll still hit you like twice. The only way to fight them without trading is to hit them with range, or hit them once and get out of the way. The reason this thing isn't any lower on the list is because if you just block their attack with a shield, they're super easy to deal with. Bringing a shield to fight living armor is as satisfying as going to a Magic the Gathering shop to feel better about your hygiene. This is where it becomes important to remember what the intent of the video is. Even though the Skeleton Champion is more difficult than regular enemies, he is, in my opinion, a well-designed mini-boss. I think his mechanics are satisfying to face, and learning how to deal with his attacks is a rewarding process. He's also extremely easy to cheese by getting to a high place above him. However, he still hits like a truck, and has a huge pool of HP. He can also be a little buggy, and hard to predict depending on where you try to fight him at. Skelly Champ is truly the Chad Thundercock of the skeleton world. The Frost Skeleton Archer is so far away from the other archers because of his little
Bitch punch.
His little baby back
Bitch punch.
makes it hard to just melee him. He's really not that hard to deal with, but he's like way more annoying than he needs to be. He had to be special and have a little melee attack. His Nightmare variant even has a little baby shotgun attack. He's so extra punishing towards melee classes, it's crazy. What a little jerk, what a little loser. The Death Beetle wouldn't be shit if it wasn't for its slow. It's really easy to dodge, so it's not very low on the list, but its unit collision combined with where they usually show up is very little stinker coated. Nightmare isn't a big deal, they just sting twice, which kind of sucks if you manage to get slowed in the first place, and their flapping noise by itself is also kind of irritating when you're AFK in the Goblin Caves, just trying to goon to pregnant goblin hentai. The Giant Bat is one of those enemies that was just created to be annoying. With its weird hitbox, which makes it feel like it has 5,000 HP, to its drunk debuff, and its dumb squeaking and hard to dodge attacks, you can really start to feel that we're entering into genuine pest territory, and we're hardly halfway through the video. This bastard of an enemy makes me want to listen to the Halo 3 ODST soundtrack with added rain, sit outside, and look up at the sky with a stoic yet sad gaze, type shit. Although I am aware that it is allegedly easy to cheese the Wendigo, I have a very hard time doing so. Is it because I suck? I don't know, but it's my video. This spindly freak ne'er-do-well is too fast to easily get away from, and hurts like a breakup through text. I am not man enough to casually fight the Wendigo. I actually have to mentally prepare myself and hype myself up before I get into it with him. He scares me, no fib. Well, if we haven't finally reached the Crossbowman. I really don't have to justify why he's this low on the list. If anything, I bet some of you would be confused as to why he's not lower. I think his audio cue, combined with how squishy he is and his massive reload window, make him not as annoying as he could be. All you have to do is just kind of wait for him to shoot while hiding behind a wall, and then 1-2 tap him. The issue arises whenever you don't see him coming. Fucking Chris Kyle over here can actually one-shot you if you're squishy, and if he gets a headshot. Every Dark and Darker player with at least over 500 hours has had their HP donated to the Crossbowman charity. Basically everything I said about the previous entry applies here as well. They're essentially the same enemy, but the Frost version applies Frostbite. I also genuinely think that the Frost Caves is a more difficult map than the Crypts, so this is essentially just a difficulty increase. The Frost Skeleton Crossbowman Nightmare variant also roots/disarms you, which is straight up AIDS. I didn't mention this with the normal version, but you can also just wait until the last second and then duck down to avoid the bolt on some sexual Tyrannosaurus Muhammad Ali type of activity. The Frost Sentinel is the only enemy in the game I would consider more of a turret than an actual enemy. They're like an evil inanimate object that turns the dungeon into a motherfucking dance floor. In my opinion, this is like the beta chaos of the mobs in Dark and Darker. My Dark Souls players will get that one. Anyways, I don't really appreciate getting boogie bombed, and I don't appreciate having to play a minigame just to be able to stand still. The Frost Giant Berserker is how I sound in my wife's ear at 2 AM. I hate his annoying little noises, and I hate how fast he can move when he does his lunge attack. He's got long, unpleasant attack chains in nightmare form, and hits incredibly hard. He's got, in my opinion, far too much HP, and is almost always placed in the most inconvenient locations. The Frost Giant Berserker is like a reminder that the Frost Caves are bullshit. Let's be real, the only reason you're ever killing the Ruins Golem is so that you can easily PvP in the areas that he's in, or you're trying to do something niche like mine the spot where he spawns in Ruins or get into the old rusty door. This guy is just such a slog to fight, it takes forever to kill him, and in my opinion, the ore that he drops isn't worth the commitment, even the Ruby Silver. Every time I have to kill Ruins Golem, I get paranoid that everybody else on the map can hear me, and is just positioning to jump me like a dog. His big fat ass WWE slam with his nugget hands is also like super hard to avoid, and you can't even block it. I cheese him just about every time. I don't know if they've patched this by the time of this video coming out, but the giant worm can literally just track you down across the entire map. He can actually just straight up fly through the air and hunt you down like Liam Neeson, like it's some of the silliest shit I've ever seen. His acid is kind of a fuck you, fight me again in like 10 minutes move if you're melee, and when he comes out of the ground, he knocks you up, like how I did to my wife so she wouldn't leave me. His large HP and simple moveset makes him a time wasted for the sake of time being wasted type of mini-boss. I don't really like him. It's just his shield. One time it hit me so hard I woke up in the opening cutscene of Skyrim. The debuff and the weird angles you have to take to even start to do damage to him is unfortunate. Personally, I just strafe him, and to do that successfully, every other mob in the room has to be dead, and this dude is like never alone. Even when you do strafe him, I still catch strays like J. Cole in a Kendrick Lamar track. Most times, I don't fight this guy unless I absolutely have to. If you attempt to kill the Demon Centaur without cheesing him, then you're going to have to learn his moveset and his little tells. I personally don't like fighting him legitimately because I have to remember which of his swings demands that I crouch down and spin around 3 times to avoid damage. That's obviously a bit of an exaggeration, but I find him a little cognitively demanding to be satisfying. His annoyingness really shines when you accidentally aggro him and you kinda just have to run for your life. Just stand up higher than him or crouch down a little below him and he's an easy fight, if he's alone. The Demon Berserker is one of those enemies that most players are going to have to cheese. The only way to avoid damage from at melee range is to learn how to duck and weave like you're a Naruto character. Admittedly, once you learn how to do that and consistently guess which side he's going to start swinging from, the fight becomes satisfying. For everybody else, he's mad frustrating to deal with. If you accidentally pull his aggro when there's literally any other mob in the room, you're going to have a bad time. It's also hard to focus whenever he steals all the demon huzz with his juicy, succulent devil abs. This may be a bit of a personal vendetta because the first couple times I fought him, I kept thinking he was low enough for me to go up and just kill him with melee, but this motherfucker has like 1 billion HP for like no reason. He's a caster, so why is he one of the tankiest enemies in the entire game? Makes no sense to me. Anyways, you have to play a minigame to deal damage to him, and it's very dangerous to walk up to melee. If you use range, you still have to avoid his falling icicles or whatever the fuck he does. Just a mini-boss with a few too many gimmicks for me to enjoy fighting. Just the sound of the ice harpy coming down from off of the ceiling is enough to give me anxiety. They always attack at the worst time, and their kick is honestly self-explanatory as to why this bitch is so low on the list. The wind gust isn't even a big deal, but the harpy being able to fly so that you can't cheese it makes it super inconvenient to fight. The nightmare variant can also go Chung Li on you and kick you twice after doing a barrel roll, so that's definitely not fun. This thing's audio cues actually elevate its annoyingness for me. When there's multiple of them, and that audio clip of it making that shrill-ass, high-pitched noise overlaps on itself for like 3 seconds at a time, it sends me into a Winter Soldier episode and I start hitting shit. On their own, they're not hard to deal with, but I hate whenever they clip past my shield or longsword and smack me in the head, or when they sneak behind me and give me a little love tap. Their Nightmare variant is what really boosts them to this level though. The triple attack is one of the most annoying things in the game, but overall, the Death Skull squishiness and status as fodder keep it from going any lower on the scale. I have over 3,000 hours on this game, and I still really don't know what to do with the Wraith without cheesing it. Sometimes I can duck it or dodge it, or sometimes I can parry its attacks. I'm so inconsistent in dealing with it, and I don't know why. I can't tell you how many times a normal raid has been disrupted by me getting hit by the Wraith's slow a singular time, and because of that, it just gets to wail in the back of my head like that time I started peeing on people at a mosh pit. I do not like the Wraith, and I think its debuff is bullshit, and in life it was probably a liberal arts student. This is yet another mini-boss that people say is easy to dodge, and this and that, but I don't know man, it just beats the fuck out of me. Every time I try to sidestep it, it grabs me by the nuts and slings me on the ground until I stop moving. It's incredibly fast, breaks doors whenever I try to get away from it, launches me across the room like I'm a fucking football, and then people have the audacity to tell me it's easy. Ever seen that video of Spud Hunter leading the Yeti through the doors as a druid and using it to bring armies of mobs to come and kill people? Perhaps it's problematic. The giant dragonfly is one of the most classically annoying enemies in the entire game. Nobody likes getting poisoned. Nobody likes it when the giant dragonfly spits out its little gobs that somehow hit you, even though you immediately one-shot it. Nobody likes its stupid little buzzing noise, and how sometimes they fly up too high to hit, so you have to walk backwards to let it aggro towards you so that it descends a little bit. It is annoying by design, kind of like the IRS. I know at least a couple of you thought this would be deep into the top 10. People hyped these things up so much to me before I ever fought one, and I was genuinely disappointed. Yes, they are super annoying, especially because they're never alone and it's hard to aggro one at a time, but the main annoying part of their moveset is how vicious their combos are. If you get hit by them, you're gonna have a bad time. All you have to do is space them and then hit them when they're done swinging. It's kinda like the immortal snail. If you let it touch you, of course you're going to die. Surprised to see it so high? This one is a simple thought process. Their existence is annoying. Fighting them is easy. Their moveset is garbage, and it's extremely hard to actually get hit by them. But opening a chest and using the opportunity to hit your vape, or do anything else with your hands? A classic blunder. What's also annoying is that it makes the loot table worse, which I think is dumb, considering the chest being a mimic makes the encounter more challenging, which should yield a larger reward. Just saying. You know why she's here. The kicking is annoying, yes. Being distracted by her moo-moo mommy milkers is annoying, yes. But when she gets knocked down, and you don't kill her in time, she transforms into Agent 47. The shotgun feather attack actually just straight up one-taps you. The amount of damage it can output is genuinely deranged. Sometimes, it feels like fighting a harpy is like flipping a coin to see if you live or die. The shotgun alone elevates her annoyingness to near top 10 levels. As the final frost skeleton on the list, this rat fuck bears the unique distinction of being the most annoying of all the snow skellies. I can't really put into words the hatred I felt for this enemy whenever I first learned they exist. As a melee class, it is so difficult to get damage in on them around their giant plank of wood. This is like if Johnny from Ed, Edd n Eddy got jacked and did coke. Because of where you find the Macemen, they're often Nightmare, which means they have an extra combo of bullshit and are hyper fast. This thing has killed me more times than I'd like to admit. The hitbox on this thing's attacks make no sense to me. I can almost never figure out how to block it because it doesn't feel like it connects where it appears to connect. They also have that annoying slimy sound, which reminds me of her, but it's interesting because I can never hear this motherfucker coming. I swear I almost never get into a fair fight with the slime because they spawn in behind me, already swinging at me. Not to mention the snail trail that the Nightmare leaves behind. I have a theory that Iron Mace actually has the slime coded to be completely silent, but only sometimes to gaslight their players. This is the entry that has changed place the most. Originally, I had it in the top 10, but since they removed its ability to flash step behind you, I decided to be a little bit more lenient with it. The big issue with these gargoyle goobers is that they have so much HP, and there's so many of them in one spot. They're loud, take forever to kill, and their moveset feels like it was developed to fight your shadow and not actually you. They're always shooting across the room to try to stab directly behind you or into the ground. Just a weird decision to have these things in the game, in my opinion. They are genuinely unfun to fight. Yup, I bet you can tell that we're in the in-game now. I'm going to group the kobolds together here because yes, even though one is an archer and one is melee, the reason they're both so annoying has very little to do with their movesets. You could argue that they're annoying to fight individually with the quick attacks of the archers because of their survival bows, or the long, drawn-out swing animations of the melee kobolds. You know that I know that you know that they are here because of their weird scuffed aggro mechanic. Are you committing to fighting one? No, I think you meant 7, bitch! Also, their dumb little dance to call their friends over was cool the first 10 times. Now whenever they do it, I look beside me at the wall like how Jim from The Office looks at the camera. Our number 11 spot in official honorable mention of the top 10 is the Goblin Mage. This magic mongoloid has the most inconveniencing projectile in the entire game. It's easy enough to avoid, but if you get hit by it, not only are you slower than your average Aiden Ross fan, but you also cannot heal. It basically turns you into a character from the opening scene of Goblin Slayer. And no, you're not Goblin Slayer. What really sets the Goblin Mage apart is its Nightmare mode, which gives the staff a switch. Now you get to feel like you're in the O block as you run for your fucking life every time it attacks you. You just killed the troll, and you're heading towards an exit. No other players have spotted you out yet, so you should be home free. You pass by a couple of goblins on your way out, and you don't think much of it. Boom! You've been hit by a goblin bola slinger. You're now slow, but you don't think it's that bad. You keep chugging forward, but before long, you're hit by another. Now you're forced to close your eyes, as the legions of goblins slaughter you slowly, and you lose your troll pelt. All because of him. There's a reason that people call him Thanos. With his almost undodgeable attacks that apply an inhuman amount of pressure, you'd be lucky to kill more than one at a time. You find a nightmare, it's over. You better find a cheese spot, or you better be Faker on the sticks, because if he gets a hold of you and combos you, it's lights out. If this was a question of what mob is the scariest, this would be the victor. Undisputed. This is an enemy that I don't find very difficult, but you can't ignore just how annoying the petrification is. It can spam it, and when it does, you are both immobile and disarmed. You're forced to just stand there as a statue, incapable of progressing the fight along whatsoever. Disarm, in my opinion, is the most unfun and annoying monster mechanic in the entire game. Being stunned on top of it is incredibly obnoxious and uninteractive. This is more or less annoying depending on what class you are, but wisps are annoying as fuck regardless. They're ranged, you find them in packs or surrounded by other annoying enemies, and whenever they die, they literally flashbang you. If you like playing in dark rooms like Batman, then your eyes have known the wrath of accidentally looking at a wisp when they explode. To top it all off, you better not approach it with buffs on, because it can rip those shits off of your entire party instantly. Bards and warlocks, beware. If you don't believe that this is a top 10 level annoying enemy, then let me remind you of something. Let me walk you through something. You're trying to kill an enemy when the mage is on the other side of the room. Let's say it's a skeleton axeman. You have it one shot, and as your sword comes down to kill it, it gets a bubble that lasts for like 6 to 7 seconds, and it's immortal now. Now you have to run away and not interact with it. When you want to go kill the skeleton mage, unless you're careful, you're going to get splashed by its fireball. I can never tell when a mage is a nightmare or not, so I often sometimes hard commit in an attempt to finish it off quickly, just for it to fireball me directly in the cog. The giant centipede is only number 5 because of RNG. It doesn't have to slither away and it doesn't have to spit at you, but it can also slither away 3 to 5 times in one fight, and it can non-stop spit at you. You have to get good at utilizing your movement to avoid the spit or bring a shield, but as for the slithering evasion move it has, you have to just chill out and watch it for the most part, and wait for it to be done with its interpretive dance moves. When it comes back, you just have to hope and pray that it doesn't waste even more of your time. Its melee is criminally easy to avoid, but if it hits you, it does insane damage. I already know that a lot of people have this as their number 1, and I can see why, trust me. I hate it. A lot. From its annoying screeches that make your ears want to bleed, from its weird bugs, to its knockback which, in hell, can basically be an instant death sentence depending on where it makes contact. Hearing this winged willy come down from the ceiling can fill you with instantaneous dread. I almost respect how it makes sweaty classes fear something on occasion though. It's fun to see a druid player get knocked into a bunch of demon berserkers and die. Here we go. We're at the big 3. This is where I really have to enforce that the zombie is exceptionally annoying, not strong. One of the worst feelings in the game is spawning right next to a bunch of zombies because they take so long to kill and you'll almost never DPS it down before it shits itself at least once. There are certain spawns in hell where you're going to get gassed by a nightmare zombie off rip and there's very little you can do about it. The only saving grace is that the gas cloud is technically coded as a monster and can't go through walls and doors. Also, it gives you reason to run the old stinky stick. The mummy spider is the runner-up for a reason. It's one of the weakest enemies in the game, but also one of, if not the most evil. If Iron Mace could fix the way collision worked with them, they might be way higher up on the list, but because it's so easy to clip onto a spider and start bouncing on top of them and end up getting thrown into spike traps and into other enemies, it's a big problem. There's always so many of them, and they respawn infinitely until you destroy their pot, which I know a thing or two about, by the way, you should check out my channel. You have to crouch down and completely change your playstyle just to deal with them, and the nightmare spiders move extremely quick and even root you. Mummy spiders are definitely the Diddy of the dungeon. And now for number 1, the biggest cocksucker in the game, the giant spider. And thank God he's only in very specific areas. He's got an okay amount of HP, and he's easy to kill and easy to dodge. There's nothing insane about the giant spider outside of one little teensy-weensy move he has, his disarm. It's a poison that he spits out that is almost completely impossible to dodge, I don't care what the fuck you say. For whatever reason, if you're close, I don't know what it is about the specific projectile, but it's so difficult to avoid if you're within a 200-mile proximity of the spider. Yes, it's annoying, but how often does he do it? RNG, I think? He can spam it indefinitely, and you can actually just be standing there looking at him thinking angry thoughts for like 10 to 15 seconds. It is the most toxic thing in the game, and I want to start a petition to have this piece of shit arachnid removed. Hey guys, I really appreciate you watching the video. I would apologize for taking so long, but I already did that enough earlier. You should probably know that I do not approve of the direction that Dark and Darker is moving in. I know I'm not like a big name in the scene, but I have played this game since the playtest, and as I mentioned earlier, I have about 3,000 hours or so into it. I'm not going to sit here and act like I know what Iron Mace should do, because I don't. All I know is that I simply do not find the game fun anymore. It's probably mostly Druid's fault, deadass. On a lighter note, I am also opening my Discord up to the public. You'll find it in the description. I encourage everybody to come hang out with me in my community. If you enjoyed the video, like it, tell me what opinions of mine you thought were dog shit, and go ahead and smack that subscribe button for me. Thanks guys, toodaloo.